I'm Jerry McLaughlin and a writer for Newsmax.com. In recent weeks, as the anti-ICE protests escalate in cities like Los Angeles and Minneapolis, many of them are devolving into vandalism, blockades, and outright riots. A growing number of national security experts are asking serious questions. I talked to one today. Are these protests truly grassroots, or are they something else entirely? I've got my opinion after talking to them, and there's a word for it: astroturf. Yes, they're not organic, they're astroturf. In an exclusive interview that I had for Newsmax today, I talked to counterintelligence specialist Casey Fleming, founder of security firm Black Ops Partners. He told me that what we're seeing in Minneapolis is not spontaneous activism. No surprise there. He describes these protests as astroturf operations, manufactured movements designed to look organic, but fueled by dark money networks, hidden dark money networks, and centralized coordination. It's a very serious interview. He's very concerned. These are not grassroots protests, he said. They're astroturf riots, funded, organized, and amplified with precision. And when you follow the money, you keep finding the same names. Our astute regular viewers know some of these names already, I am sure. People that want to do us in from other countries. Now, at the center of Fleming's analysis is Neville Roy Singham. He's a U.S. billionaire currently residing in Shanghai. His financial background is from, no doubt, far-left activist groups, and he has drawn increasing scrutiny on Capitol Hill. You know some of these groups, George Soros, Open Societies, etc. According to the congressional investigators, Singham has poured tens of millions of dollars into a complex web of nonprofits that are funding these protests, media campaigns, and activist infrastructure, primarily inside the United States, because that's what they want to overthrow. They don't want to overthrow China. They don't want to overthrow North Korea. They want to overthrow the United States. House investigators have linked Singham to organizations such as People's Forum and the Justice and Education Fund. These are groups that have played visible roles in all sorts of demonstrations, including these current Minneapolis anti-ICE demonstrations and campus disruptions everywhere. They know that eventually, if you have enough people show up, somebody's going to get hurt and they cry foul. These organizations are alleged to operate within or alongside networks connected to, we'll say the C word, the Chinese Communist Party's United Front Work Department, the CCP. It's a known influence arm of Beijing's global strategy. Now, let's talk about congressional action. Back in September of 2025, the House Oversight Committee, led by Chairman James Comer, you may remember this, it wasn't that long ago, 2025, he was participating with representatives, I believe it was Anna Paulina, Anna Paulina Luna, and she intensifies the investigation. And then after the riots were tied to these groups that erupted in Los Angeles, subpoenas were issued and requests for donor records were made. Remember all that, the Rodney King riot, supposedly spontaneous and this and that. Singham reportedly declined to cooperate, raising further concerns about foreign influence and domestic unrest. Ever notice a double standard? The liberals could wreck towns, smash plate glass windows, etc. Conservatives do anything wrong, they nail us. Well, Fleming points to a reoccurring pattern across the cities. Nearly identical slogans, uniform signage, pre-printed banners. The same activists appearing again and again. You roll the film, you see the same people, the same signs. Whatever a federal authority is questioned or any locations, guess who shows up? Dum, dum, da, dum. The same signs, the same activists. It's crazy. In Minnesota, said Casey Fleming, the protests suddenly mirror what we saw in Los Angeles, the same fonts, he reiterated, the same colors, the same messaging. Here's a question. Casey and I both wonder. You think with all that money, they could at least vary the font size a little bit on those signs or change the color a little bit of the shape, be a little creative. But it's not grassroots. So they're not creative. According to Fleming, this isn't about policy reform at all. It's about system overload, overwhelming ICE, overwhelming the local police, overwhelming the courts, overwhelming social services. Does that sound a little familiar to you astute listeners and viewers? I'm getting to it. You probably know what I'm getting at. Until constitutional governance itself starts to work, look and appear unworkable, that's the goal there. It's like it, and you think, maybe it wouldn't work. But Fleming reminded us it worked in New York. Exhibit A would be Mayor Mandani. And wouldn't they try it in Minnesota? Why not? I mean, they get a communist, an avowed communist, as the mayor of New York, the city that never sleeps. We never thought it could happen, but it just did. Now, these concerns extend way beyond the Oversight Committee. In September, it was 2024. No, it was 2025. The House Ways and Means Committee. That was, I think, then it was Representative Jason Smith. He was identified at least by one tax-exempt group as a likely CCP organization involved with organizing riots across multiple U.S. cities. Now, this is not conspiracy theory. This is congressional testimony. The committee questioned whether organizations benefiting from foreign link funding should retain nonprofit status while allegedly inciting violence and civil disruption. Quote, these groups enjoy tax advantages, unquote, said Casey Fleming, warning, quote, while undermining the very system that grants them these privileges. Yeah, that's called biting the hand that feeds you. Typical. Now, the part I was getting to that I think my astute viewers know, Saul Alinsky. Does that name ring a bell? Ugh! Fleming also traces these modern protests to none other than Saul Alinsky's 1971 manifesto. You know it, say it out loud, Rules for Radicals. Alinsky advocated ridicule, personalization, relentless pressure, emotional provocation, and deliberate overloading of systems until the capitalistic governments fail. Now, remember that famous picture of Barack Obama writing on the chalkboard in the school, University of Chicago or something? That was straight from Saul Alinsky's book, Rules for Radicals. Now, Fleming says those methods are clearly visible today: mocking chants, theatrical confrontations, uniform protest visuals designed to well, it's not legitimate anyway, but to delegitimize his opponents. Energizing participants. What people are watching on the street, said Fleming, is not activism, it's doctrine in action. Whoa. Fleming compares this phenomenon to a domestic color revolution. Okay, it's what it's called. Don't look at me like I'm being prejudiced or something. Where legitimate grievances are exploited, amplified with outside money, obviously, and within the United States. And push towards chaos until disorder becomes self-sustaining. Sound familiar? Look on TV. And the mainstream media, the lamestream media, just chimes in. Despite mounting congressional investigations, Fleming says legacy media coverage has been notably muted. Quote, when billions of dollars in foreign linked money are involved, he said, pressure gets applied. Editorial pressure. Oh, some advertising, a few more $1 million from Red China indirectly through other areas. And narrative pressure. Oh, no strings attached, just run our ads. Oh, by the way, you don't run that conservative guy over there, before the ink is dry on the $1 million check. The question for journalists is simple, he added. Will you follow the money or keep pretending this spontaneous outrage is grassroots? No, it's AstroTurf. Casey Fleming, who's got a new book called Red Tsunami, look it up on Google or on Amazon. He reminds us that the stakes are high. If Congress refuses to expose these networks, these same tactics are going to continue to surface. Today at ICE, tomorrow at elections, later on energy infrastructure, or worse. The goal is erosion, any way you can, just this destruction of the United States, erode trust in the institutions, erode confidence in free enterprise. And once chaos is normalized, centralized control starts looking like the solution. Centralized control, like socialism, like communism, centralized control. Cameras everywhere. We're getting closer to it. His warning is blunt. Follow the money before it's too late.